Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron channel. You are not almost there. You're not almost there. I was just over on Basement Bodybuilding's comment section for a recent video, and I encourage you guys to head over there and watch it. He mentioned me, and I just left a comment on there, and I'm gonna talk about that real quick before I dive into things. But you're not almost there. That's been kind of the story of my life, just trying to see what I can do, pushing myself, muscle strength, ultra running. And I had another major coach, not mention my name, but talk shit about me this week in the comments section of some other video. He didn't mention my name, but, he was sarcastic and disingenuous, kind of framing me as a natural limiter. And that's where videos this week came from, right? I've spent my entire life trying to help people. Never once tried to limit anybody. I love the discussion of natural potential, but I've never tried to limit anybody. Back in the steroid era, we had no idea what was possible, right? We just had no idea. We had Platts and Arnold and Frigno and all these guys, and we literally had no idea what was possible, without megaroids, right? So we studied natural potential, and, it was a way to educate ourselves. What are reasonable goals? What are things we can strive for, right? So my love for that, turned into a semi-insulting slap by another major coach. And I'm not going to name names, but if he's watching this, go fuck yourself. Literally go fuck yourself, you pussy. I've spent my entire fucking life trying to help people, and I helped you, you fucking pussy. I helped you, and you can go fuck yourself. All right, let's move on. Just a reminder, guys, welcome to Massive Iron Live. I'm here every Friday at 11 Eastern, and been here, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years now. Probably the longest running live Q&A, since there's been lifting. I don't know. We're just making shit up. I put live C. I almost put lice. Every Friday, if you post a question before live C starts, you get a chance to win a free Massive Iron t-shirt, hoodie, gym bag, wear, creatine. And I pick one every week. Just pay attention and watch. You guys can hit me up. If you are the winner, let me find this here. If you are the winner, you can message me down below at Ben the Barman, at Ben the Barman. And I would like for you guys to come on over and follow me on Instagram. I'm a little bit fired up this morning because that comment this week that I saw really got under my skin. Not because I don't like criticism. Like I can't take criticism. Not like I'm not a big boy and criticism offends me. But the thing is, like, I spent so many endless hours helping this person, giving my time freely, helping them establish a YouTube channel, putting money in their pocket, doing things for them that I didn't have to do. And, why it had to go down that road, I don't know. But in any case, all right, let's move on and get past the drama, because it's all a distraction. And this is about your results, and it always will be. And that's my life's work. Comments. If your comments aren't going through, please try to rephrase them. YouTube has a tight comment filter, and you can't always get your comments in, so you can type them in, retype them in, or if that doesn't work, hit me up on Instagram, at Ben the Barman, at Ben the Barman. My internet is kind of acting weird today, so if you guys get any weird issues, can you guys see me okay? I want to make sure the stream's okay and not cutting out, because I tried resetting my internet, but the bar is still kind of a little bit weird this morning. So let me know if you have any issues with that. Before we dive into things, if you're new here, please post up a question. There are no dumb questions, no stupid questions. And I don't care if I've answered this question 1,000 times before. There are always new people out there that haven't heard these questions. And if that is you, don't be shy about asking them. I'm here to help. And it doesn't matter if I've answered a question 10,000 times before. We respect beginners, and we respect people that have not heard these questions 1,000 times before. And I am here for you. So don't hesitate to post your questions up, and let's fucking destroy this fucking day and this fucking weekend and whatever goals we have. Let's do it. I'm here to help. Instagram, follow me on Instagram at Ben the Barman. If you need a custom workout or coaching, head over to superlivingtoday.com. In the coaching world, there's a lot of people that just want to do weekly check-ins or slide you a spreadsheet and have you fill out some bullshit every week, and whatever works for them. But I'm going to tell you, the way I do coaching is different. I try to build a relationship with people. I'm there 5 days a week with check-ins. I'm going to give them as much as they give me. I'm going to give them as much as I can. And I'm imperfect. I'm not a perfect being, but I will give you everything. I will give you everything I have in coaching. I give everything I can. So if you are tired of shit-ass results, if you're tired of shitty results, shitty strength results, shitty muscle results, you're just over it, consider it. Just consider coaching. My rates are relatively reasonable compared to some of the other crap in this industry. And, I am going to give you everything I can. You can get form checks every single day. I comb through your workout every day, looking through things. I'm going to ask you questions every day. I'm going to make sure you're on the right track. And my clients that, you can't force people to do things, right? But the clients that stay on the tracks and do what's required are making some really good results, are seeing really good results. So check out the coaching tab. My wife's here. What are you doing?
I'm heading.
You're heading? This is Bubba sausage.
All the boys.
This is the original sausage. This is Bubba McSausages.
And this is
Bubba's a big old sausage. Bubba's a big loaf of bread. Bubba, say hi to the worldwide inner tubes. Bubba could give 8 fucks. He doesn't give. Bubba doesn't give a fuck.
Bubba doesn't care.
Okay, there's Chunky Monkey, the original. Oh, thank you for the ear love, Bubba. I want to bring Snoopy. Well, Bubba, you're gonna die. Where's Snoopy?
Snoopy Doo.
This is Snoopy Doo. Snoopy is a big boy. He's big and strong and muscular, and he is a fighter. He likes to fight and play and get rough, but he's also a lover boy. He loves to kiss. And he'll never stop, ever. He'll never stop kissing you.
A fucking crazy ninja.
Okay, Snoopy Doo, you're down.
Chi-Chi.
But this is Chi-Chi.
Oh, he's a little crazy.
This is Buddy Boy. This is my guy. I know.
He's a crazy ninja.
I love you too, Buddy Boy. Buddy Boy. Buddy Boy's my boy. He stays by me.
Snoopy.
So, all right, let's get into questions. You guys didn't come here for wieners, did you? All right. Right, you came here. You didn't come wiener dogs. You didn't come here for wieners. You got a wiener in your mouth? We can't even control what's going on here. All right, I got to get into things.
Have fun.
All right, let's get into things.
Boys.
All right, have fun.
Stop it. Stop trying to be.
Before we get started, I'm going to try to reset the internet again. So hold on 1 second, and I'm going to hope that the connection. All right, let's try this. Okay, I think we're reconnected. Hey, baby, could you calm them down, please? Hey! The dogs are going crazy. Good morning, Tim. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell in your ear. Good morning, Tim. How's it going? James, going through a storm the coming year and can only get 1 to 2 workouts in a week. That's a long time to go through a storm. Advice in terms of bulking and training. Well, the first advice is to focus on what you can control. That's all we can do in life. So, sometimes life gives you the big shit sandwich, right? And excuse my swearing. I'm a little bit fired up this morning, so I might be a little bit more offensive than normal. Life is going to give you shit sandwiches. This week I was deadlifting, And on the last rep, I decided to walk backwards holding the bar to drop it in the rack, right? Because I was lazy and strained my lower back. I'm like, we're always doing something stupid, or life is always giving us something stupid that's messing with us. And all we can do is we can be frustrated, right? We can be upset, we can be angry, we can be all those things. But at the end of the day, we eventually need to focus on what we can do. What can I do, right? So if you can only work out 1 or 2 times a week, I'd probably do an A/B split. You're gonna have to realize you're gonna have to cut something out, right? You can't do everything in 1 to 2 days. That's okay. Even if you can only get 1 to 2 direct sets in on triceps or biceps or whatever, you're gonna have to cut stuff out. Your calves and abs, and you might have to cut out traps, and you might have to, not do every compound movement under the sun. But I will tell you, and I want to encourage you, that use this as a challenge. See what you can do, right? See what you can accomplish. In terms of bulking, you're going to be in the gym killing it. And when you use kind of my method, the massive iron bulking method of gaining 10, losing 10, there's really no downside to that. The coming year, spend 5 months bulking 10 pounds. Why not, right? You're going to be under stress. You're in a storm, gain 10 pounds, and then do a quick month cut and lose 10 pounds and repeat it over the course of, a year. You're going to end up the same weight. You're going to get what you can out of your training. You don't want to cut the bulk down to nothing and then risk. Like, I want you to go into the gym with those 1 to 2 workouts, James. Just give it all. I mean, give everything you can. And I don't want you to leave any gains on the table, because you're not bulking while you're doing that. Just bulk a little bit more conservatively, 10 pounds over, 5 months. What's going on, Snoops? And you're good to go. And James, I'm going to give you I'm gonna pick you as a winner, and that doesn't mean I won't pick anybody else. But you can DM me at Ben the Barman at Ben the Barman, or email me benthebarman@gmail.com. I'll give you a hoodie, a T-shirt, a creatine, a gym bag, whatever you want. Let me turn off my notifications on teammassiveiron.com. Teammassiveiron.com. Dumbbells and donuts. Happy Friday, Team Massive guys. At teammassiveiron.com, I'm building a community. We got a good community. And if you're tired of Facebook, you're tired of all the political crap and the trolls in this industry and the nonsense and the hate and the confusion, join teammassiveiron.com. I got 2 payment setups. You can pay a one-time fee and join forever for $99, or you can be a part of it for $49 a month. And it has a gatekeeping fee, but the community is great. And by keeping out the riffraff and the trolls and the tire kickers, we have a strong community. So I want you to do something this weekend. Find one of those subscriptions to like MGM Plus or Hulu or something you don't watch, and just jump in. Come join teammassiveiron.com. Going for a 3-day trip abroad in a few days. We're going 3 days off creatine. It's think of the long run. I mean, creatine is like a little 1% of 1% when you are training, and 3 days off, you're going to get back on it anyway, right? So it's not going to really impact anything. Is it optimal to stay on creatine 365 days a year? Yes. Is it going to really do anything if you don't? No. It's just the sprinkles on the icing on the cake. So you'll be absolutely fine. And when you bother with calories, Tim, if you are going on a trip, when you guys can't control calories, I want you to set aside the obsessive compulsive world, okay? Set aside macros, set aside the idea of calorie counting, set aside the panic that it's going to somehow destroy or ruin anything. And eat to satiety. Don't abuse yourself. But if you're on vacation, you want to have a few more drinks or a little bit of extra food, do so. It's not going to make or break things. But you just eat to satiety till you're full. Don't self-abuse. And what I usually do is I try to make sure I get a good protein in, not just for muscle building and that sort of thing, but for dietary balance. Look, it's really easy to go out to eat and eat the bread and the pasta and the crap and the desserts and the IPAs and the drinks and the wine and the calories from everything, and then like proteins over in the corner whimpering. So whatever you're gonna do, I try to get a good protein in my meal. What you doing, buddy boy? Come here, buddy boy. You can see him out in the. What are you doing out there? Big fall. Paul hit a bench PR this morning. Good job, Paul. Paul's from Team Massive. When is the next Team Massive camp out? I'm actually looking at doing. Before the pandemic, we had a Team Massive meetup. We had a retreat in Ohio. We had 3 days. I took the crew on some amazing hikes over 2 days, and then we came back to we rented a big cabin, like one of these monster cabins that house like 20 people, and everybody put in like $199 or whatever it was, and we rented one of these big things, and we provided all the food, and we sat around at night after the hikes and had beers and sat around a campfire, just had a blast. So I'm hoping we can do that again. Obviously the pandemic squashed that. And we're hoping to get back to that maybe next year. Thoughts on Larson feet up benching. It's fine. The problem with benching in general is that most of you or some of you focus way too much on 72 form cues when you're benching, to the point where things just aren't sustainable, right? Or you're trying to do the scapular retraction and the arch and the thing and the 72 things, and that's good for a 1 rep max attempt. But on for your training, your day in and day out training, all you really need to do is have good control, and not have your feet dancing around and not put yourself in a position where you're really sloppy or bouncing the bar off your chest. And I think the Larson is a good press in the sense that it kind of removes people from all the chaos and gets them back to just raw bench strength. I don't over set up on bench training. You don't need to. That's a lie. You don't need to overset up. You don't really need to do. I don't even retract my scapula. I don't. I just get in a good natural grip position, and I control the way down and make sure my feet are set and I'm stable. But that's where I work my benching at. It's not sloppy. It's definitely not sloppy. But that's kind of. I build in that foundation when I go to a meet. When I've gone to a meet, do I know how to get a little bit tighter and set my feet and get a little bit of a baby arch and do all of course I do, right? You have to a little bit if you're going to compete in powerlifting, but that's when I lock things in. But does it really help much compared to my daily training? The difference is trivial. It really, really is. For me at least. So I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do the Larson press as the only press you're doing. But I would do it, maybe every other week or every other, as an accessory, assistance exercise you're benching. Is there a big difference between still having your feet on the bench and stretch out? No. I mean, your core, it's going to feel different. Obviously there are differences in the lift. It's going to feel different. But in building your bench, I mean, Uncle Freak might disagree, because he has all the experience in the world with this, and I don't. I don't do the Larson press. I just do loose pressing. But you know, don't run to do the Larson press. You know, if anything, just kind of learn to bench a little bit more relaxed. That's a good next step. And then if you want to mess around with Larson every other session. Carlton, Incline of mine. How's it going, Carlton? Timothy was from Team Massive, by the way. Marnix. For every 10-pound bulk and 10-pound cut, how much body fat percentage is shredded approximately? Hard to say, but if you're training, I can tell you this. There's going to be some. Let's give a rough example of, let's say, a lifter that's not doing too well, but still having some muscle gains, right? He's kind of a mediocre lifter. Let's say you have a 200-pound lifter who is going to do the 10 and 10. Let's say he starts out with lean body mass of 150, so he's 25% body fat. So our lifter is 200 pounds, lean body mass of 150, and he's starting out with 50 pounds of fat, so it's 25% body fat. So let's say he does 5 bulk and cut cycles, and he only gains 2 pounds of mass each time. He's a slow gainer. That's okay, right? That's just using an example of a slow lifter. So he ends up at 200 pounds over 5 bulk and cut cycles, and he's only gained 2 pounds of mass each one. And I say only 2 pounds is still pretty good. If you take that out over 10 years, you're going to be a house, right? You're gonna look good. You're going to be a sexy mofo, right? You're going to be Mr. Natty Potential. Not Natty Limits. We can't use that word. Right. So he starts at 200 pounds. Let me stop rambling. And he was 150 lean body mass and 50 pounds of fat. And he gains, over those 5 cycles, he moves his lean body mass up to 160. And now he has 40 pounds of fat. So his body fat percentage is now 20%. So by gaining 2 pounds of mass, he every cycle he dropped his body fat percentage by 1. So let's increase this a little bit, and let's explore this a little bit more. Let's say every cycle he gains 4 pounds of mass instead of 2. That'd be pretty good. That would be a good pace. So he would end up over 5 cycles, 20 pounds of mass up. So he'd be at about 170 lean body mass, and his body fat percentage would be 15. So each cycle he's losing 3%. So you can see it's not linear. If on a bulk and cut cycle you gain 2 pounds of mass, you're going to drop about 1% body fat each plus 10 minus 10 cycle. If you gain 4 pounds, you double it, your body fat percentage is actually going to drop by 3% each cycle. So it's going to triple. So it's more exponential. It's like 1 plus 1 plus 1 squared or something. I don't know, whatever it is. I'm just pulling formulas out of my ass. But the more muscle you gain, obviously it's going to be a little bit non-linear. It's going to be more exponential. You're going to lose a higher percentage of fat. Does that make sense? On your modified fast protocol, if I train 1 hour after waking up, how many carbs should I eat preferably? Well, you can get away with none if you want. The key, if you're going to train in the morning, is you want to get water straight out of bed with some sodium. Sodium is an electrolyte, and we come in the morning depleted. You're most depleted water-wise in the morning, right? So you want to make sure you get water straight out of bed, 8, 6, 10, 12 ounces. Don't go crazy. Just get some in your system, and then you can start sipping after that. You probably want to have a little bit of sodium in that water, or a little bit of sodium straight out of bed. And if you want to do some carbs, you could have something like Honey Stinger Chewies, which have caffeine, and they're like, 100, 120 calories. really simple, fast digesting carbs. You could do that straight out of bed, or you could do a banana, right? Some simple sugars, maybe 100. I wouldn't go crazy, just a little bump. So you're saving more, more of your calories for regular meals. Does that help? Rico from Team Massive. How's it going, Rico? Every time I see NFL players in the gym, they're doing these weird Joel Seedman ass workouts. Not how I would train them, but what do I know? What's going on here? Is it just the trainer? I wouldn't say every time. There's a lot of smart guys out there, and there's a lot of lifting coaches that don't lift like that. Now, I had the opportunity to coach Special Olympics with the strength coach of the Cincinnati Reds baseball team. So he was in and I took over for him, but there was a little bit of overlap. So I had to work initially I had to work the guys on his program. And is it what I would do? No. Right. I think there's always going to be a spectrum with strength coaches. Like Athlete X is a perfect example. I would not let Athlete X coach my teenage daughter. And I'm not saying that to be cruel. I'm just being honest. I wouldn't. I don't trust him. I don't trust his form knowledge. I don't trust his ability to program beyond the basic, understanding of this is a reasonable split, but I just wouldn't let him coach. It's you might call that hate, whatever. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. So there's a spectrum, and I don't understand what it's like to hire a strength coach for a major corporation, because that's what these guys are, right? I don't know who hires, right? I don't know if the coach really is the coach of the baseball team or the football team. Is he knowledgeable enough about strength to hire a strength coach, or you can just hire a buddy that he worked with in college, maybe? Or is it placed on the lap of the human resource person? I don't know. But I imagine there has to be some degree of resume, so I don't know what's going on, man. I really don't. I'm detached from that world. I don't really know what they're doing. It's a different world than I live in. So, strength and conditioning coach. I don't know. Is that what they call him? Strength and conditioning coach? Dungeons and Dumbbells. Can't hear it live, but I'm here in spirit. Thank you, sir. Hey, gang, related to your post today, I see lots of young lifters, squatters, and sometimes deadlifters in socks. Some people find advantage to that, and I certainly wouldn't hate on that. My personal fear, and maybe I'm irrational, my personal fear is that if my feet get sweaty or the socks get sweaty, that on gym mats, I'm going to have some slippage. So that's my personal fear. I'm a little bit nervous I would be a little bit nervous personally. Like every time I would walk back on the squat, I would get a little bit nervous that my feet are going to be sweaty and they might slip a little bit. So might be completely irrational, but that's what goes through my head. Stein, happy Friday, Stein. Dumbbells and donuts. What are the signs that tell you a client isn't sufficiently recovering, either in terms of doing? Well, we have to be careful here. Sufficiently, like when you start out with hard training, you're going to feel like you're run over. But then after 2 or 3 days, you're going to feel recovered before your next workout, before you're hitting the next area. initially, when you start out, your soreness might last even longer. So we have to understand what's normal and what isn't sufficient. I don't run into really anybody that isn't sufficiently recovering. I run into people. I'm just being honest. I'm not being dismissive. I don't really run into people that aren't sufficiently recovering. I run into sometimes initially when they get into hard training, we might need to adjust the split a little bit, allow for a little bit more rest, or maybe dial down the volume 10, 15% until we can get them up to speed a little bit. I do have occasionally, a couple times a year, someone that really struggles with the work capacity. And it's part of the journey. Like, if you want to run a marathon on a trail and you go out your first time running and do 20 minutes of hills and you're sore for a week, your perspective is skewed a little bit. Like, I'm never going to be able to do this. But you adapt really quickly. So some of this is just getting back in and knowing you have to continue to repeat the cycle and adapt, allow some time to adapt. Does that make sense? All right. Can we combine massive mass? The massive mass is kind of my 2-set protocol, 2-set per exercise. I've been getting a lot of questions lately about Alpha Destiny's 2-set protocol, and people have been asking me, is it viable? The sets per exercise doesn't matter. It's your overall bigger picture, weekly volume and workout intensity. And I'm telling them, yeah, we have massive mass in the massive arm world, which is 2 sets per exercise. Can you combine that with your bench 3-phase approach? Yeah, absolutely. The good thing about the things I come up with are that most of them are interchangeable. We want to avoid like overthinking, like we can't interlock these or meld them. You certainly can. Massive mass is like 2 sets per exercise. It's more of a program for guys that like more exercises. Some of us just enjoy doing fewer sets per exercise. We can move on to the next exercise, and there's nothing wrong with that. What's up, Snoop Dogg? Power muscle block or power muscle bulldozer is it has basically a lower rep exercise, your power exercise, where you're doing like 4 to 6 reps. Your muscle work or your volume work where you're doing like 8 to 12 reps. And then kind of a finish or a rest pause. So massive mass is more of a 2-set structure, whereas power muscle burn block or power muscle bulldozer has heavier work, has volume work, and has more rest pause or type of work. So it's just a different type of program. Is one better than the other? No. If you work it hard, you're going to see good results. Some people don't like the low rep strength work. Some people do like the low rep strength work. Therein, lies the difference. Chris Bacon, big, hairy, ugly dude. When is the bulking book? Why is the bulking book the same price as your new book that includes the bulking book? I just bought the bulking one. If you just bought the bulking one, let me know. Email me and I'll send you the new one. Look, I'll be honest with you, Chris. I'm no megacorp. I just try to provide value. I don't know when I put out the bulking book, 18 months ago, maybe. And a lot of value in my bulking book. You can head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com, and search bulk. Or you can check out the new Power Muscle Bulldozer, and it includes the bulking book. Why did 18 months later I toss the bulking book into the program? Because this program is a course, right? It's a bigger, it's not just like a 3-page PDF. It's more of a course. So I want to add more value. So the coin flip I usually have is if I add more value, the price is going to go up, right? I mean, there's a difference between a workout skeleton that's 4 pages and a book that's nearly 10,000 words. If you're looking for any rhyme or reason why I do anything, the only reason I added it to it was to add value, to give you guys more. So it's kind of the way things go. Look, it's just the way things go in retail, and I'm not making any excuses, but anybody in retail gets bit. You ever buy something and then like on Black Friday, it's like half off? You know, as the Australians would say, fuck me dead, right? That's just retail, you know. Prices kind of go up and down with sales and changes and new products, you know. So I never try to punish somebody, you know, that's an old time customer. But I'll tell you, if you join teammassiveiron.com, you get all this stuff for free. I gave my new book and bulking book to Team Massive Iron for free. So join teammassiveiron.com and take the worry out of your life. How's that for my jingle? Big John, happy Friday. Same to you, my friend. What is the best way to take progress photos? Good question. I think you want some relaxed and flexed. It's probably, I mean, you can take them more than once a month, but you know, it's gonna feel like you're looking at the same photos a little bit. I would you know, probably take them once a month. Relaxed and flexed. In good lighting. What's up, buddy boy? Come here, buddy. You know, that way you get a good comparison of both. And thanks for everything you do. Thank you. I appreciate your support. Andrew, big Andrew, whoa. How's the cut going? We had, excuse me, going through puberty. We had a month where we were moving into this place, and I lost 4 pounds in that month, so the cut kind of got slow. My training's back on track, though. My nutrition's back on track, and I'm about to hit a new low. So we're on track. I got 160 days till my new gym is done, my new house is done, and I'm going to do filming in that house. We're gonna have a whole different Massive Iron world, my friends. I'm gonna have a world-class. I'm gonna get as much as I can in my basement, just a sweet-looking gym where I can film and do exercise tutorials and videos with me showing workouts like Power Muscle Bulldozer. Me, you know, and that's going to be the world we're going to be in starting around November, December this year once we get settled. Amanda P. Alternative for incline dumbbell bench. Have you tried the barrel press? The barrel press is one of my new loves. It's basically, instead of pressing like in a neutral grip, you have palms facing one another, and you come down till you get a stretch. You want wrists about over your elbows. If you guys can see that, let me get rid of that. Wrists about over your elbows, and you want to bring it down controlled, get a little bit of a stretch, and then press up like this. And when I press up, I can feel my pectacular chesticles kind of peaking, right? Ooh, getting juicy right there. Try that, Amanda. See what you think. Big Andrew Wall, on a cut, how long does weight and scale need to plateau for before changing? If you get to like 5 days and your weight's not moving, then I start to be like, if I'm consistent, you know, then I'll probably think about dropping it a little bit or increasing steps a little bit. Depends on which you prefer, which form of punishment you prefer. John Paul, watch your video about the power of a 10-pound bulk in a span of 24 or 30 months. Can I use only one program? Yeah, you can, man. There's never any need to change programs. what I teach is evolving programs based on needs. So if you get bored with an exercise, slot in a different exercise. If you don't like 8 reps if you don't like 3x8 on Penley, move it to 4x6. We have to give ourselves the freedom to evolve our programs. Does that make sense? So you don't need to change programs. I mean, when we change programs, we're basically changing to the same exercises. It's like if you took chicken and rice and broccoli and you gave it to 10 chefs and you said, come up with a different recipe, it's still going to be chicken, rice, and broccoli, just in a different way. That's really what programs are. So one thing I teach on this in the massive iron world is to fuck your program. And what I mean by that is don't worry about programs so much, or needing to change programs. Keep it kind of focused on lifts and progression and the things I talked about yesterday in my video. And as long as your program's reasonable, you're going to be okay. And there's never any need to change it. And hypertrophy and strength are the same thing in the massive iron world. Same thing, where even if you don't want strength, we're pushing for progress. That's going to drive muscle. So in the massive iron world, until you get to like 80-85% of your potential, strength and muscle are the same thing. You're going to build both in the massive iron world. Big Steven, Big Hairy Ugly Dude, read about your modified fast program. About wondering how long is okay to go without protein before eating again. My modified fasting, and I hate to call it fasting because it can trigger some people, but basically I would eat protein, 200, 300, 400 calories of protein in the underfeeding window. So it's not fasting. It's really more rigid reduction. But you're going to be fine if you're training hard. In a perfect world, it's probably better to have 4, maybe 3 protein feedings a day. But do I really think that's going to make or break anything if you're training hard and your calories are good? I don't really think so. Sandro's a new member of Team Massive. Thank you for joining, Sandro. Big Jonathan. Any news on the Boost Camp app workouts, and will it be available for everyone? The Power Muscle Bulldozer that I put together this weekend, I put that together for Boost Camp. So now I just need to structure it for Boost Camp, put it in a format so folks can run it on Boost Camp. That's one of them. I'm also going to do a new upper posterior because that's a super popular program. If you were armed with the decades of knowledge you have now, what would you have done differently? I would have, after like 2.5 years of training, like I didn't set out to do this. It's just how it happened. Like people were like, what are you taking, right? What are you taking? I was looking pretty juicy. I was, my sister hated my legs because they were too big. I got up to like 192, 194 at 5'10". My body fat percentage was probably 17, 18, nothing above 18, right? But at that point, I probably would have started the 10-pound bulk cut cycles. But look, the thing is, like, I met a girl back then, right? So I went off and joined the Army. And, lifting became kind of, it was still a passion, but it was a secondary passion, because I was in the military. There's not a lot you can do. I still trained when I could train, but I would change that. And there are some things I would have done pull-ups. I would focus on pull-ups more. I would have stayed with dips because I kind of really abandoned them after year 3. I used to do a program where I did chest and shoulders on the same day. And I would do barbell overhead, dumbbell bench, barbell bench. I was beating the living shit out of my presses. I had at least 4 big presses in every workout. I would have changed that. Those are probably the big things. From a personal standpoint, I would probably have changed a few things. You know, if I would have known then what I know now, I would have, started a website earlier, started a business earlier. Most of it would have been personal. Big John, if I can't afford the personal coaching with annual 6-month, I do phone consultations for $99, and they usually run about an hour. I do custom workouts and body fat assessments for $49.99. So if you do a custom workout, I'm going to give you a bulk and cut protocol, for the next 12 months. It's really simple. I mean, you have to execute it. So that's only $49. That's on my website, superlivingtoday.com. Wherever it's at. There's a custom workout. If you can't afford the personal coaching, the workout is probably the best bet because I send you questions, you send me your equipment, I build something completely for you. And you can run that as long as you want. And it gives you if you attach pictures or you just attach weight or you just say, I feel kind of fluffy, I'm going to build you kind of a general sketch of a bulking cutting protocol that you can kind of use for the next year. So that's really, really a rough. But beyond that, if you guys can't afford coaching, I would really strongly advise you consider joining teammassiveiron.com. And I know I beat the drum for this, but at Team Massive Iron, and let me just put this up. Use the commercial for a second. We have a lot of things going on, okay? But you can send 4 form videos a week, every week. For form checks. So we can look at curls one week, seated cable rows the next. You can get out of it what you put into it. You can ask me questions, unlimited questions. So I think if anybody didn't want full-blown coaching, a phone consultation isn't a bad thing. I had a really good one last week with somebody, a physician in the New York area. And we dialed in, we got to comb through everything, and we dialed in a few things and dialed in some nutrition things and dialed in some recovery things. So a phone consultation isn't bad, but it's $99. I mean, an hour of my time, and I'm going to give you everything I got. A custom workout is $49, and if you tally that up with Team Massive, $4.99 a month, you're going to get a really good value out of that combined. So I think that's the best bet. So for those of you guys that don't want to dive into the coaching world, Team Massive Iron, you can ask me questions every day. You can do form videos every day. You can DM me every day. It's like a hotline. And a lot of guys that join Team Massive don't ask me any questions. That's fine. Or they just ask an occasional question. That's fine. But then again, a lot of these guys already know the answers because they've been following me for so long. So where are we? Let's go back to find where we are. Where are we? Big Sam. Happy Fry Talk. Thank you. Thoughts on the seated Smith machine? It can be an okay exercise. I'm not against. I used to be more against the Smith machine than I am now. But the one thing I find is you have to lock it into a position that feels natural for you. You don't want to kind of like if it's too close, if it's too far away, you're going to be kind of pushing up like this, and you're going to get some weird internal shoulder rotation. So as long as you can find a position that feels good, I like the seated pin press where you put a barbell right about here and you're seated and you get under it, elbows under wrists, and then you press up. That's my preferred version. But at the end of the day, whatever you like. Harut, how's it going, Harut? Harut's a client of mine looking like a freak, probably executing the best cut in the history of mankind. Absolutely spectacular to watch. What do you think about heavy machine finishers? Running the stack on tricep press. Yeah, well, I wouldn't start with max weight. If I'm going to do a run the stack, this is just what I'm going to do, Harut. I'm going to build up a little bit, and then I'm going to run down. I like to build up and then back off once I've, don't get offended, shot my load, right? So if I'm doing leg extensions, for example, I'll do like 60 for 10, 70 for 10, 80 for 10, 90 for 10, and I'll keep going up until, and you can rest. You don't need to rest a lot between these, but I keep going up until I reach that point like, what am I doing? Like, it's just getting really crazy. And then I'll start to back down until I'm ready to leave the gym. So you can do them anyway. I'm not sure I would start with necessarily max, maybe a little bit under and build and then crawl down. Does that make sense? Yvonne, how's it going, Yvonne from Team Massive? Big Brandon, Steve, had a bit of an AC joint discomfort. Not enough to keep me out of the gym, but noticeable over the course of the week. Shut it down or keep blasting. Some of this is going to come down to you and sorting through the intensity. If you are in really bad pain or really bad discomfort, when I say really bad, like I strained my lower back, it hurts me getting out of bed at night to urinate. That's bad, right? Not really bad is you don't really notice it unless you're like into your third set of benching, right? So, and there's a spectrum obviously in between there, but we have to pull back some to give it some time and space to recover. But if there is room to do a little bit of work, lighter work or less volume, and it's the key is the injury getting better over time, or is what I'm doing aggravating it or potentially going to aggravate it and make it worse? If you can dial down the volume, dial down the intensity, and it's improving over time, sometimes you'll pick up these strains that linger. And I've had them many, many times over the years, and they kind of dissipate over time. And the key is to not do anything to aggravate them to make them worse. Does that make sense? I'm closing in on a year of consistent workouts and diets, and I'm in the best shape of my life. Congratulations. I just wanted to say thanks for the information and support. It's wonderful to hear feedback like that, because I'm just sitting here at my desk putting out content, and it's always good to get feedback. Always good to know that what I'm doing is impacting someone. And just something funny. I'm live on Twitter. I tried the Twitter connection, and those of you guys that can't maybe watch on YouTube, these are going to be on Twitter as well. There's no live viewers on Twitter right now because I just have a small Twitter account. It's massive_iron. But if anybody wants to watch me on Twitter, this is on Twitter as well. And you can watch the replays on Twitter. Twitter is doing more stuff for video, and I'm able to cross over and post this on Twitter as well. So I used to do this on Facebook, but no one watches on my personal Facebook. My mom doesn't watch these, right? Like, Facebook is for family crap, you know. So I've never been a Twitter guy, but it seems like they're allowing more room for video. So we're giving it a whirl. Do painful muscle knots indicate poor form? No. They're unreal. They're random. I'm no knot expert, right? I might be more of a Knott's Berry Farm cookies expert than I'm a knot expert. I've never had a knot. I'm not going to not pretend I'm a knot expert. I really know jack crap about them, but I can tell you most of the stuff is random aches, pains, strains. Big hairy ugly dude, you told me about some storms in your life. How did you manage to keep on lifting? Look, I'm no angel, and I'm never going to pretend to be an angel. You know, you get these social media douchewads that act like their poo-poo don't stink and everything they do is perfect, and they never cheat and have perfectly clean sheets every day, right? And everything in life is good. And that's not been my life. My life's like your life. It's had ups and downs, trials and tribulations, and plenty of mistakes. But the only thing I can really say, there's been periods of time where after the birth of my second daughter, she had colic and it was really rough, and I didn't lift for a while. In the military, I didn't lift for a while. There are seasons in life where we lose, even though we love lifting, we lose steam for it, and that's okay. We have to allow ourselves, there's a balance. We have to allow ourselves some freedom to be, right? To get up every day and do whatever you want to do, even if that doesn't mean lifting. But we also have to balance that with taking care of ourselves. Like, you can't wake up every day and say, I don't want to brush my tooth, or your single tooth, because all the rest fell out. I don't want to brush my teeth. I'm not motivated to brush my teeth. I don't want to eat healthy. I'm not motivated to eat healthy. I'm waiting for the motivation to not eat donuts, right? Look, it sounds funny, but some people live in that world. I'm waiting for the motivation to not eat fast food every day. What they really say is, I'm waiting for the motivation, to find a motivation to stop eating like shit. I'm waiting to find the motivation to exercise. I'm sitting around eating donuts. I'm waiting for the motivation to not sit around and not eat donuts. Silly. You know, we have to face things a little bit with, we have to fight ourselves back a little bit. I have self-talk, and I don't always win. Sometimes a lazy demon wins. Let's turn on my fan, so if that's too loud, let me know. But we have to push back. If someone's sitting on the couch and they're waiting for the motivation to exercise, at some point, like, what do you think? The motivation fairy is going to come in and kiss you on the neck and make sweet love to you, and all of a sudden you're going to be blessed with the baby of motivation? You're going to be full and pregnant with motivation. That's nonsense, and you have to admit it's nonsense. You have to admit it's nonsense. It's patent bullshit. It's foolishness. It's a lie. You can't lie to yourself. The lifting fairy doesn't come kiss you on the neck. Now you are blessed, my son, and you may lift with motivation. No, you have to say that's a lie. If you don't want to lift, don't lift. But don't lie to yourself waiting for motivation. Either you're going to take care of yourself or you don't. That's your choice. I'm not going to shame you. I'm not going to judge you. Life is hard. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. Look, if someone gets up and decides from age 20, all they want to do is watch Netflix and eat donuts, and that's the way they're going out, then it's not ours to judge. Can that impact society? We got to pay for your medical bills and all that kind of stuff. Yes. Does it have the potential to be irresponsible and place a burden on your fellow man? Yes. But each of us still has to decide, are we going to do the fucking right thing? Are we going to take care of ourselves or are we going to not take care of ourselves? Are we going to brush our tooth or are we not going to brush our tooth? Whatever you decide, you got to deal with the consequences, and you got to admit when you're lying to yourself, because the motherfucking lifting fairy ain't going to come kiss you on the neck and make sweet love to you and impregnate you with the baby of motivation. Ain't going to happen. Not going to happen. And if you think it's going to happen, you're lying to yourself, and you need to stand up and take your fat ass and go stand in front of the mirror and say, I'm lying to myself. Either I got to lift or I don't got to lift. I don't want to lift. You know what? I don't want to lift either. I love lifting, but man, every day it's like, I don't want to lift. I want wingies. Right? I want wingy and beer and to watch a baseball game. Got to balance it out. You got to make time. You got to find time to move. You got to find time for your health. You got to find time to fucking cook. You got to find time to go to the grocery store. I do not give a fuck about your excuses because that's all they are. It is your choice whether you want to take care of yourself or not. And everybody gets storms, and I'm sorry people go through storms. I go through storms, and man, when I go through storms, I'm sorry I go through a storm. But I do not give a shit about your fucking storm because here's the thing. Life is short, and I am 55 fucking years old. And I can see the end coming for me. I can see the end coming for me. And the end is coming for you. And storms are coming, and that's part of life. But what the fuck are you going to do about it? It's coming for you. The end is coming for you. Are you going to wake up today and live? Are you going to wake up today and be your best self? Are you going to wake up today and seize the day and laugh and love and fucking get everything out of the fucking day? Are you going to sit on the fucking couch like a whining baby, lying to yourself, waiting for the motivation fairy to come along and kiss you on your fat fucking lazy ass neck? I do not give a fuck about your storms because I care about you. And that's what you need to say to yourself. Self, I do not give a fuck about my storms because I care about myself. And you know what? In those moments when I rise my fucking fat ass off the fucking couch, when I do not want to lift, when I do not want to run, when I do not want to eat healthy, when I feel like absolute shit, and I rise my fucking ass off the couch and make myself go out and do a 20-mile run or a 15-mile run or a crazy workout, something, that's when I really feel like I'm fucking living because I fought back. And those are the moments I remember. This is something we have to train ourselves. We have to challenge ourselves. This is something we learn over time. This is something we learn by fighting. We have to fight back. We always have to fight back. We always have to fight back. Every second of every day, there is a voice in your head telling you to sit down. Oh, poor you. You have storms. Poor you. Sit down. I'm scared of my dog. Sit down. Eat Doritos. Drink beer. I don't feel like lifting. I do not give a shit. And these are conversations you need to have with yourself. Whenever that voice is telling you not to do it, you need to fight back. You need to push back. When I sit on the edge of the bed and say, what the fuck? You wake up in the morning and you're just sitting at the edge of the bed. And you're like, what the fuck? I just want to take it easy today. You know what I tell myself? Fuck you. And it's not some sick form of punishment because at the end of the day, I know if I had the opportunity to go out tonight and run for 4 hours, it's not the exercise. It's the pushing myself. It's the living, right? When I do something I didn't want to do or I don't really, my brain is telling me not to do, I feel so fucking alive, right? I am in control. I feel alive when I am in control. Not when the voice in my head says I have storms. You know how many people I've seen pass away in the last 5 years that I've cared for? People I've met and trained with? People I've loved? Life is fucking short, and it's too short to be a fucking pussy. Go fucking do something. Someone I care about, David Clark, you can check out his books on Amazon. He was an alcoholic. He lost 100 pounds. He became a vegan. I'm not a vegan, but who cares? He changed his life. He ran like 100 ultra runs, over 100 miles. He completely changed his life. And like a week before he died, I talked to him on the phone. I was going to challenge him. You know, I was going to put together a running team, and I asked him if he wanted to put together a running team, and he said he couldn't run anymore. But you know what? He died. He went into surgery. He went into the hospital for routine surgery, and he died. Bud Jeffries, you guys know Bud Jeffries? You know his son Noah? Well, I sat in a YMCA parking lot in Louisiana maybe 8 years ago. We sat there till sundown, just bending steel and bending nails. Just three guys in a parking lot, you know, just doing some crazy shit. They're both dead. Noah died first, and then Bud died. A week before Bud's death, he was going to be on my podcast, and he couldn't figure out how to get the video up. My dad died last year. Seen all these bodybuilders die. People I met, Jerry Ward. Jerry Ward wasn't my best friend, but what I'm trying to tell you guys is, like, the older you get, whether you're 30 or 35, you're going to wake up in a heartbeat and you're going to be 50, and then you're staring down the barrel of your own death. So you got to make the choice. You got to make the choice. How do you manage the lifting? This isn't a question about lifting. It's about how do you manage to keep on living? Man, I can't. You can die. You can crawl in your hole, and you can just eat yourself to death and not. But look, the only thing I've ever found is that when I challenge myself, I'm alive. And I have found that out, whether it's running or lifting or pushing myself doing coaching. I coach for a living, and there isn't a day I don't get up where I feel like an imposter, like I don't have enough to give. I'm not smart enough. I'm just some shithead with no degree. But I don't allow myself to live in that. I challenge myself. I push myself. This isn't a lifting question. It's a life question. We have to live. We feel most alive when we're pushing ourselves. At the end of your life, I can rest easy when I die, because I know I've spent my whole life pushing myself. Do I want to die? No. But I'll tell you what, I'm 55. And there isn't a day I don't wake up where I feel like if I get another 10 years, I'm gonna feel like the luckiest man in the world. 10 fucking years. I'm not gonna be here. Maybe 15. If I'm lucky, I'll live to 90, right? But it's perspective. This isn't about lifting. How do you, it's the question should be not how did you manage to keep on lifting? It's how do you manage to keep on living? How do you manage to keep on living? I know you feel overwhelmed. But here's the thing. Don't think. Get up today and do what you love. Challenge yourself. Stop fucking thinking. Think. Fuck it. Go do something. Get in the car and just fucking drive somewhere and start walking. Just fucking do something. Drive to a fucking food bank and start handing out food, or a soup kitchen. Just fucking shut up. I'm not telling you, Marnix. I'm telling, like, that's what we have to tell ourselves. Shut the fuck up. I'm just going to the fucking gym. Just go do something. I know you feel overwhelmed. But feeling overwhelmed implies a lot of thinking about it. What I've found, two things in life, I'm going to end on this. When you're in that thinking zone and you feel overwhelmed, maybe that storm's not going to leave, but there are two things you can do. Number one, you can serve other people. The first thing I do out of bed is this morning I answered all my Instagram questions, and I answered all my questions on Team Massive. I have a servant's mindset. I'm not an influencer. When we serve other people, go hand out food at a soup kitchen or go volunteer for Special Olympics, we stop thinking about ourselves. Whatever way you can serve other people, we stop thinking about ourselves and our problems. We escape that bubble. That doesn't mean our problems are going to go away, but it kind of refreshes us. It gives us a different perspective. When I'm training the Special Olympians, all of a sudden my problems don't seem that big. So that's number one. Take the focus out of your head and go do something for people. It doesn't matter what it is. And number two, do something today that is an adventure. I don't care if it's walking around a fucking outlet mall. Just going out, doing stuff. Sometimes I just go walk around the downtown area with my dog, some random city, just to get out, to do things, to build perspective, to see new things. That's living. Get out of my head, get into life. You're gonna have some fucking adventure, some fucking crazy. You're gonna meet new crazy people. Sometimes me and my wife, when we first met, we used to just drive around and hop and to all these little breweries in the middle of fucking nowhere, and we'd day drink, and we'd meet all kinds of crazy people and just have the time of our life. We were hiking this on the weekend when we were hiking a lot. It's not like we're major league alcoholics, but we were hiking and drinking and hiking and drinking. And challenge yourself, go adventure, challenge yourself, do some physical activities, do something that's going to challenge you. Get out in life and try something new. All right, sorry for the long ramble. Morning, big, hairy, ugly dude. Took a whole week off the gym and running to let my body heal up, and it feels like an eternity. 2 more days and it's time to lift. Yeah, it does sometimes when you take time off and you kind of start to feel like a big fat sack of jello. Could you do a shirt about going through storms? I could. I need a good idea, though. You guys have a good idea then, or a concept, send it to me and I'll make it up. Brandon, I'm doing overhead press. What's your opinion on heavy warm-ups? 20 plus over working set. You can build to that, but you got a structure problem. I have no issue with doing like a CNS primer, central nervous system primer. Basically, what he's trying to do is a heavier warm up and then drop down to the working set. Be smart about it. Just don't have it so heavy that you increase the risk of injury. Richard, hello from Scotland. Isn't a day that doesn't go by where I want to just buy a plane ticket and go back over there and just get in trouble, man. Love your country. Curiosity question for you regarding the overhead lifting and bench debate that came up a couple weeks ago. I know nothing about powerlifting and Olympic lifting, but the Olympic lift said that jerk a ton of weight. Do we know if they're any good at bench? I don't know really if Olympic lifters bench, but I would assume they have a well-rounded strength base because we're looking at things in all different planes. So I'm not sure why you would want a weak, horizontal push. I would think you would want to be strong in all planes and all movement patterns, but I really don't know how they train. I emailed you, Ben the Barman, because you asked me to drop a line for free merch a couple weeks ago. Yeah, did I respond? If not, I was either moving or your email got buried. So if you could bump it, my email box, literally, if I don't check it in like 2 hours, I'll get 50 emails, a lot of questions, and sometimes I accidentally lose them. So just bump it up. Big Max, can you lower daily steps when bulking if you have a hard time eating more food? You could. I think if you start to go below 5,000 steps a day, you are really pushing yourself into the slug zone for health. I mean, you're young; it's probably okay-ish, but I really would be, just for general health, I'd really be nervous about going into that area. If you are struggling to get in calories, get some heavy cream and put an ounce into a protein shake. Get a big 100 bar and eat that before bed. There are some simple ways, handful of cashews, some simple ways to toss back those calories. Does overhead pressing? Yeah, overhead pressing, like, what we have to understand about compound movements is they're not simply one or two, body parts. They're very complex. They work a myriad of muscle groups in different ways. Some are just support and stabilizers. When I do deadlift, my chest, I can feel my chest strain. So every compound lift, though, it might be a shoulder exercise with front delt and triceps focus. You're like, if you stand here, you put your hand on your chest, and you're really like pushing again, you can feel your upper chest working. Absolutely. Your obliques are going to work, your abs are going to work, your lower back's going to work, even your glutes are going to clench. Those sexy glutes. So yeah, is it enough to stimulate muscle growth? No, but cumulatively, that's why we want to target all different movement patterns, if that makes sense. Question about warm-ups. If the goal is to get the CNS firing, yes. Should we warm up differently if we work out first thing in the morning? That's a very good question. Now, one of the misconceptions about about warm-ups is that we're warming up the body. Well, to a degree, we're making sure our body temperature is not low. We want to get the body a little bit warm, the muscles warm, but basically just going to the gym and moving around the gym is doing warm-up sets is going to do that. So do you need 5 to 10 minutes on a treadmill? No. Is it a bad idea? No. It can just kind of get you moving and get you in the routine and get the blood flowing. But the purpose of warm-up sets is to get your central nervous system in the game. Like, the body is not just set up so it'll recruit a maximal amount of muscle fibers right out of the gate for every movement. Like, if I pick up this bottle of Advil, it's not going to, sorry, I didn't mean to make that noise. It's not going to recruit every muscle fiber in all my body to do that. That's super inefficient. So by stimulating the central nervous system, by slowly ramping up the weight, we are encouraging the central nervous system to call into play more and more muscle fibers. If you jump straight into a big working set and you're not going to do that, your body is not recruiting a maximal amount of muscle fibers, as many as it could, and the muscle might be strong, but you're not using all the fibers. You're going to increase injury risk. So as we warm up, we want to slowly ramp up the weight, but we don't need to do a lot of reps. So the question is, first thing in the morning, the central nervous system, or our body in general, really is, and I hate to generalize, but we're really running at full speed, like late afternoon. And early in the morning, it doesn't hurt to do a few more warm-up sets just to kind of stoke the fire a little bit, if that makes sense. Big Josh Megaroids just scored a great job, but it's 4 on, 4 off. The shifts are long and alternate days and nights. It leaves me with 4 out of 8 days. If you have 3 out of 8 where you can lift. I would probably say upper, lower, torso, limbs are your best options, or upper, posterior, torso, limbs, because you have 4 workout variations. So basically, 3 out of 8, you can get in every body part 1.5 times out of every 8 days. That's what I would probably do, Josh. If I was in your position, I would do torso, limbs, or upper posterior. Push-pull legs. It's gonna leave the push part a little bit low because you're only doing that once out of every 8 days. Whereas if you're doing upper posterior or torso limbs, you're doing it 1.5 out of every 8 days. I don't like mentally going beyond a week. At what body fat percentage do you stay most of the time? Jonathan, my life's been an adventure, my friend. When I got out of the military, like, this isn't something I ever thought about till I got on the internet. I mean, certainly we worry about body fat, but I was super lean, and then I got out of the military and was in sales. My body fat percentage probably got up to 25, and then I entered the binge eating era where my body fat percentage was 2,000. Right. And when I was at my leanest at 238, 240, I was still at like 22% body, even though you could see veins in my arms. So during the pandemic, I don't know, I gained like 15 pounds. I was running a lot, but not a lot to do. So we had some not the best eating habits, right? But when I was at my, like, a lot of my pictures you see were at 22, 23, give or take. On a dumbbell overhead, what is the main difference with grip? Neutral grip versus palms. Palms facing forward. This is an Arnold press where you start out here and you rotate up. Okay, naturally, you don't like force it all the way out, just naturally. On a dumbbell press, I kind of start natural. You can see this is my hand position. I don't know. And when I press up, it's just natural. I don't think about it. I don't force a grip. Just keep it natural. On big compound movements, to save the joints wear and tear, just try to keep things natural. Big James. Massive Steve, are you planning on releasing a new novice plan? I got my Massive 6, which I wrote back in the day, and it did pretty good. But I've been thinking about reworking it a little bit. I honestly haven't looked at the book in at least 6 years. I couldn't even tell you what's in it because I put out so much content. I'm not saying it's crap content. I'm just saying I really haven't looked at it in 6 years. So I would like to redo it like a complete novice because you guys know I love squats and deads, but I think a novice should temper them until their form is decent. So I definitely think I need to rework it. I work out at the YMCA and I'm missing something not working. Am I missing something not working at the Trinity? My wife works out at the YMCA. I have a membership as well, and I go there occasionally to fuck nerd around. I can get in a good workout. They have like a horizontal leg press and some things I don't have at home. I can't think of anything. They have more things, I haven't been to like the Uber gym, like the top commercial gym, like LA Fitness in a while, but my YMCA is pretty similar, so I wouldn't think so. Had some missteps on my mini cut and wound up going to maintenance. Now the timing of my cuts are off. Summer is not a good time to cut, but I don't think I should bulk. That's okay. You got two options. Just put it in cruise control, and there's nothing wrong with that during summer. No one likes to feel fat and fluffy. during summer, right? Because you got to put on those shirts and they're all sweaty. And we think everybody's looking at her body. Really, everybody's just thinking about ice cream and sex. Right? So could you do a slow cut? You could. I wouldn't pressure yourself. If you can, a slow cut's, let's be real, a slow cut's probably just going to turn into maintenance. So the only thing I can say is damage control. If you have a couple days a week where you can kill it. But I would think damage control. Try not to gain weight because that's just, you can gain a little bit. It would just be like a mini bulk, but I don't know, man. You're going to have to decide what you want to do. There's no shame in maintenance, but the problem with maintenance is some people will slowly gain weight, and that's fine. That's called a bulk. Or if you want to do a mini cut usually just becomes maintenance. So it really depends on how much you want to worry during the summer. Soy sauce nanner. Are there exercises that are easier to progress on during a crazy cut weight loss journey? Well, every exercise is different. So people ask a lot of times, how do I maintain strength on a cut? I'm not Harry Potter and I have no solutions for you. But what I'll say is the stronger you are on a lift, the harder it is to hold that strength on a cut. That's just reality. You can't get a 1,000-pound squatter that loses 100 pounds of body weight and still squatting 1,000 pounds. It's very, very difficult unless you're Uncle Freak. But all you can do is focus on what you can control, right? The effort. So like on lifts where you aren't as strong, they're a little bit easier to maintain strength. And lifts you're kind of weak at, you could even gain strength. So don't overthink it. Just focus on effort and get the cut over with. The key thing of a cut is to get the cut over with. Just get it over with. Because too many people worry too much about stuff on a cut. Am I going to lose strength? Am I going to lose muscle? Blah, 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 blah. Just get the cut over with and get back in the arena. That's my best advice. All right, this is where we start at 11 o'clock. Let me get a drink. We've been out for an hour and a half. We're rocking today. You guys keep the questions coming. I'll stand as long as you sexy sinners, heathens, tossers around of iron have questions. I got to back up. We've never gone 4 hours. If you guys make me do 4 hours, I might reward you guys with some extra free stuff. All right, just cleared my throat. Okay, Brandon, I see your email. I was trying to check on Brandon to see if you sent me the email. Let's roll on. Emmanuel, this is the highlight of my Friday. Thank you, sir. You don't know how good that makes me feel. Trying to add value to your life and trying to talk lifting. I'm just here for the lead-in music. Thank you. People ask me all the time what that is. That's I wrote a song called Flack. Actually, back in the day, I had a 4-tracker, and I wrote a lot of songs, probably 250. That's what I would do on the weekends. I just noodle around and write songs. And that is one of the few songs that survived. It's called Flack, and I had it redone by Munich, and Munich nailed it. So that's one of my old ones. Big Brandon, switch cable rows for barbell. I could do 195 by 10. Am I missing out on gains? Brandon, usually what I say is do both every other week. Barbell rows are kind of like Pendley rows. I like Pendley rows. But I think either variation is a step up on cable rows, and that doesn't mean I don't like cable rows. I do like cable rows. I like cable rows a lot. I just think, you could do them every other week. I'd be hesitant to switch cable rows out. Stan, how's it going? Any strategies for benching? Yeah. Get VersaGrip Pros. I can't tell you how many times I answer this question in a week. Benching is not causing the elbow tendonitis, but it's showing you it's there. All the gripping of a barbell causes elbow tendonitis, and most of it comes from our pulling or rowing, deadlifts, rows. Get some VersaGrip Pros and use them on all pulls and rows. Over time, that's going to reduce the elbow tendonitis, usually. What are the most common mistakes beginners do on a squat? I made a video recently about 21 tips to fix your squat on video. And on Instagram at Ben the Barman, I posted all these tips. Watch that video. I can't plead with you guys enough. Watch that video. The most common mistake is that there are very common mistakes, but a lot of people think they need to do wide stance, low bar, and then they just look. There's nothing wrong with wide stance and low bar, but if I want to be honest here, I don't feel that's the best for quad activation. Most of you guys want big legs. You probably need to squat more like Tom Platz than Dan Green. I do not like wide stance squatting, personally. And for somebody that wants muscle, I'm constantly trying to find a way to get them to tighten their shot group, whether I tell them or not, unless they really, really are natural at it. What are your thoughts on moving to UK or Scotland? Well, we're building a house, and I would love to live part-time in Northern England or Scotland. But we've talked about this, and it makes more sense to kind of spend a month or two every year over there than to actually buy a property. So there's so much more I want to see now that I've gotten into rugby and some of the Premier League and, following some of the soccer, football. I'd like to see more of the country. I'd like to say I'm not a politics guy. I don't really, I don't like to get in too much into politics. I'm more of a freedom guy. I don't give a fuck what you're doing. Just leave me alone. But, moving to a different country, it's a whole different political. I mean, I'm not saying the U.S. is perfect. No way we are perfect. Right now, we're probably the scariest I've been in my whole entire adult life. Like everybody's trying to kill each other and hate each other. So the U.S. is certainly not perfect. But when you have to move to a different country and deal with a different healthcare system and a different political system, that gets kind of intimidating. Traveling where you can stay in your own little world for a little bit and hide and just eat food, that's more fun for me. Big Alonzo, what M? Jonathan, losers don't have haters. Brandon, all good. James, who was the influencer who said that? Steve does not know. I'm not going to name names. I could, but I won't. If you guys missed that part, it was just my rant right out of the gate. I happened to see a comment on somebody else's, one of my amigos, one of my friends, somebody I mentored, taking cheap shots at me. This all started over such a trivial thing. I'm not going to get into it, but I made a post on social media about a lift, and we had a disagreement about the execution of a lift, but the individual thought I was calling him out, and that wasn't the case at all. So there was some miscommunication and then some strife, right? Fair enough. Not everybody has to get along about everything, and I don't like to have fights about lifting. I don't believe it's more important than people. But for some reason, this person decided to downgrade things into taking cheap shots. I mean, I want to continue to learn and grow. I'm never perfect, but when somebody calls me a limiter because I study natural potential, and look, I'm going to be honest, I'm bigger and stronger than the guy. And I don't want to do a ball sack comparison because that's not what this is about, but I've never tried to limit anybody in my whole life. I've spent my life trying to help people, and that's what I love to do. I'm not some superhero. I get up every day, like I answer Instagram questions. If you guys watch my Insta stories, 2 or 3 times a week, I ask for questions. I answer every question. I answer every DM question on Instagram. I answer every question on Team Massive. I answer every question via email. I do all kinds of free work, and I've done that for over 15 years now. And I've never once tried to limit anybody. So anyway, long story short, I went on a comment and basically called me the natural limiter. Like, come on. Really? I mean, if you hate me, hate me. But if you're going to take a shot at someone, you better come with a legit shot. You better come with, like, you want to call me ugly? That's legit. I get you. I get you. You want to call me fat because I don't have 15% body fat? I get you. I'm not ripped. Fair. But you want to call me somebody that limits people? Dude, you fired the wrong motherfucking bullet. Because when you do that, all you're doing is framing yourself as a fucking idiot. I mean, seriously, I love each and every one of you, and I'm not going to mention names because I believe in karma. I really wish this individual would just, not. But you can't control people. Sometimes once people hate you, I've been in this game a long time, man. I've had people hate me because I don't like workouts. I get it. People get fired up. I don't like strong lifts. I think it's the worst novice program ever created. Do I think people can get results out of it? Yes. That still doesn't change my belief that I think it's the worst novice program ever created. Do I want to fight you about it? No. I'd rather sit down and just have a drink and laugh about it because it's just fucking lifting. It's just lifting. I think people can get more out of an improved program, but it's just lifting. It's just activity. Anyway, I'm not going to name names. And just not going that route. How often do you see an impressive physique on the street? Man, not very often, but when you see one, you're like, respect, right? You're like, I know, I respect. Because you know that dude is working hard, and in his kitchen he's just squared away, and he's got like a food scale, and he's got protein powder and a supplement cupboard. Whether you think supplements are junk or not, you know what I'm saying. Though, like, you just see someone with an impressive physique, and you're like, hats off. This, not very often, but I tell you, when I do see one, it makes me happy, right? Because I'm like, there's a success story. I see. What do you think about incorporating pauses at the stretch position of an exercise? I don't like to arbitrarily do things. So what I'll say is every exercise is different. And we have to ask ourselves, is the goal to get a pause stretch, or is the goal to train hard? If something makes a set harder without increasing risk of injury, then it has value. But we can't arbitrarily say, let's do this for all exercises, right? It's like the knuckleheads that are like, train every set to failure. I'm not training deadlifts to failure, Bob. No fucking way, dude. I'm not doing it. I'm not training RDLs to failure. Right. So people that don't understand, you can tell a joker when they don't understand that the demands of every exercise is different, right? You can't just apply the same rules to every exercise. Like training to failure, when you go to failure on a barbell row, all that happens is speed slows down and you get a little Englishy. You're unlikely to get injury. I find it more challenging on the bicep tendons to take curls to failure than I do barbell rows. So, but this can be highly individual. So when you see a coach that is like, we should take every weighted stretch for maximum stretch or every exercise to failure, we always have to understand that what is the goal of any of this? To increase, train harder. What I spoke about yesterday, if you haven't watched the video about stupid simple hypertrophy, train harder. Is what we are doing, does it make us train harder? So we have to assess that on every exercise. We can't arbitrarily say every exercise should be at this rep range. Every exercise should be a failure. Every stretched exercise should be paused. Does that make sense? We are servicing training hard. That is our goal. Big Real Ben. Good morning. Just finished my lifting. My question is, what was your most challenging lifting obstacle you have crossed in your lifting career? You want me to be honest here? I have spent time building up muscle and strength through content and workouts. I came on board with them when they were a small company, and I appreciate the opportunity. It gave me all of this. My power muscle burn workout over there went crazy. And all my other workouts over there gave me a platform. I'm so thankful. And that allowed me to get an opportunity to work for Tiger Fitness and to expand and to eventually do this and to do coaching. I'm so thankful. But with blessings comes obstacles. So my biggest obstacles have been maybe self-inflicted, but I never saw this coming. I was just a guy talking about lifting. I didn't set out to be an influencer or a YouTube guy or a YouTube celery, right? I'm just a dipshit that started talking lifting on my fucking basement because I like lifting. So I think in that sense, because I just kind of point and shoot and I don't have a ripped ab, I'm not like Athlete X, or I don't have an 800-pound squat. I think respect, like, I don't think I've always been let's put it this way. I've always been a community guy. This is a community. We are a community. Team Massive is a community. Everything I do on Instagram is for a community. I want to build a community of people, right? I want to build a tribe. I want to build an army, a massive army of results. Not of an army of followers, an army of results. I've been a community guy. I started a community with Muscle and Brawn, no longer my website, so please ignore it. We had a community. Now I have a community. This is a community. And I brought that community factor everywhere I went, and it grew that business. But I don't think really at any point in time, the people I worked for understood the value of community, right? And building a following. Like, that's what I tried to bring to Muscle and Strength in their forum. And I did, man. We had a pretty good forum. A lot of cross posters from Muscle and Strength and Muscle and Brawn. And we had a community. I don't know how their business is doing now. I tried to bring that to Tiger Fitness. But I think my biggest obstacle is when I entered the corporate world, that they didn't understand the value of community. You guys are powerful. You guys matter. Your results matter. One-on-one, every question, every day. I don't do this to build a following. my viewership is cult. It's niche, it's small, and it's piss poor, but I do not care because all I care about every day is you guys. We met in a bar, I'd buy you a drink, and we talk lifting all fucking night. Or we go on a run. You guys matter to me. Every one of you, every single one of you. Every day I get to get up and speak to people from all over the world with common goals, and united, there's just power in helping you guys reach your goals. And I might have blind spots, and I might have knowledge spots, and I might not always be the best coach, and I might not always be the best human being, but I will get up every day and I will do what I can for you guys. And I do not think in this world of influencers and corporations and posturing and bullshit that people understand the value of community. Community is very valuable to our mental health, and it's very valuable to reaching our goals. It's a big part of motivation. That's why I really believe in Team Massive Iron. So I think my most challenging obstacle is probably been, if anything, I've been relentless with community and relentless with trying to help people. And I don't think that was always valued in my work environments. Sounds counterintuitive. If anybody's wondering, I definitely recommend his coaching. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Big JP, thoughts on power building? Everything we do is power building, my friend. You don't have to be a power builder. I don't power lift. Here's what I started using the term power building in 2008. And I didn't do it to be neat, cool, frame myself with some new hot term. I've never competed in bodybuilding. I didn't think I'd compete in powerlifting, but I'm a bodybuilder that likes strength in the big lifts. So I started calling myself a power builder. And that's kind of what you don't have to be a bodybuilder and like power lifting or you don't have to be a bodybuilder and like strength or the big lifts. I do. So I think there's room to call myself a power builder. You don't have to be a power builder. I'm here to service any of your goals. But for most of us, it's all the same thing. My training is all the same thing. You don't have to do squats or deadlifts, but my training is power building. It is strength and muscle, and you don't have to like the strength part. Does that make sense? My chronic lower back pain has set me back for years. Sorry to hear that. Now I'm on a long-term program to reverse it. I'm not almost there. It will take time, I guess. Just one step forward every day. All you can do is take one step forward, but we do know if you don't fight, you'll never have a chance of winning. Big Barbell Bryce, how's it going? Thanks for doing these. You are the GOAT. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your support. Big Nauseous Maximus. At your peak overhead pressing strength, how much total shoulder volume did you do? My peak strength, I was a seated guy. I never really maximize overheads. I don't like standing overheads. Not saying they aren't effective. I just don't like them. I did 315 seated, 315 BTN. I actually did the BTN before the seated because I did BTNs forever. I got up to 120s by 5 unseated dumbbell overhead press. I always did at least 6 sets a week of heavy overhead pressing. Fat Chick in a Barn, good morning. Client of mine. Big Logan. Big hairy ugly dude running big bench but adjusting to 3 days a week. Upper post, upper post, upper poster. It's going very well. Yeah, it's perfect. You're getting in enough frequency and a lot of recovery, so you should be fine. What YouTuber did you help that left a comment? I'm not going to say. I don't want to do fights. I don't want to do fights. So, but man, it really, really, if somebody calls me a limiter, I mean, seriously, Every intro of every video I do is "You're not almost there." I don't know if this dude's been paying attention, but I kind of like it when people smoke my ass because it fires me up. And only good things come when that happens. But you want to call me a limiter, dude? You want to call me a limiter? Do you bench with your feet flat? I've done different things. When I first started benching, I was up on my toes, and then I found I would get really, really shaky. Then I started to put feet flat and forward and kind of push away. And when I got kind of in the whole powerlifting thing, I did all that stuff and worried a little bit too much about it. These days, I just plant. I had 16%. Should I continue to lean down? Brandon, if you have a picture, send it to me. Sometimes visuals help. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. I never pressure anybody to send a picture. But I had somebody on Team Massive Ass today that was right around 17. And I told them to drop 5 and then to bounce back and forth. There's no harm from where you're at in dropping like 7 pounds and going to 165 and then bulking and cutting between 165. I would go from 165, probably bulk up to 180, build some mass over 6-7 months, and then ping pong back between 170 and 180. I have a hard time setting up on a dumbbell flat bench. Every time I lean back, I feel like I'm going to fall on one side. Should I lower the weight? I would like to see it if you have a video. I put the weights on my thighs and then I rock my thighs up and I keep my arms right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I rock back. I don't know if I can present the video. Hold on a minute. Let me see if I can find the video. Is that? Let me see if I can get this video. Nope. Removed from studio. Hold on. I saw me leaning back on a bench, and I thought that was dumbbell bench. I'll show you how I do it if you guys can give me just a minute to find the video. And while I'm trying to find the video, if you sexy people want to post up a question, comment, anything, that's seated cable roast. Hold on, we'll get there. I know I got one up in here. I got a whole slew of videos on my computer. While I'm doing this, what programs are you guys running right now? What's your training split? How many days a week are you training? Any of you guys running the lube, lower, upper, back, extra upper? Any of you guys running the upper posterior? Hold on. I'm still looking. If I can't find it, I'll just jump ship. Any of you guys running push-pull legs, push-pull arms, legs? Any craziness like that? Oh, come on. Where are we at? Right now, I just switched to a 5-day split. So I was doing 4 days, but I want to kind of expand it up. I really realized this week I love running, but I'm really in a season where I want to attack. I think this is. Let me mute it. Okay, so anyway, all the blathering aside, I set the dumbbells up on my liggy poos. There, we're on my liggy poos. And watch, I push my knees up and I keep them close and I rock them back like this. Dogs are going crazy, so watch. Right there. See how I kind of roll them back like that? So I hope that helped a little bit. I got to tell the dogs to shut up. All right, I had to tell the dogs to shut up. Let me remove that. All right, let's roll on. Did that help? I hope that helped a little bit. All right. Where were we? I got to find out where we were. What are the deadlift form cues? That's if any guys want to really dive into deadlift stuff, there is if you go to the main page of my YouTube and search deadlift, you're going to get like 30, 40 videos on deadlifts. And it's like just a complete course on, scattered. But I try to get my feet about 40% under the bar. So when I'm standing down looking, I can see about 40% of my foot in front of the bar. You get too close to the bar, and that pushes more of your weight in front of the bar as you set up. So we have little things like this matter on the deadlift. If we're too far in front of the bar, it can force much of our weight forward. And when we pull, it can cause our hips to want to fly up. So I get in that position. I get my grip just outside of my legs in a comfortable position. I pull up on the bar just slightly, and then I set my hips. I pull my weight down onto my heels. And from there, when I feel like I'm in a really good leverage position, I'm still kind of pulling up slightly on the bar. Then I think about driving my head straight up without letting my hips come up. If you see your hips coming up when you deadlift, you really have to focus on bracing and fighting that, because it'll feel slower from the start. But when you lock your hips in and start lifting up, you'll accelerate a little bit more quickly. Fat Chick in a Barn, hit the like button. Thank you. Your channel has been slowly growing for a long time, but as you gain more subs, you're going to get more semantic warriors. Indeed. And one of the things about YouTube is even subscribing doesn't matter. Subscribers don't get notifications. You also have to hit the notification bell. To YouTube, all subscribing does is tell YouTube that you like that type of content. It doesn't inherently show you that content. So subscribers don't matter. Notifications do. And, if you subscribe and want to see a video, YouTube will just stop showing it to people. This happens to all channels I grow. People will subscribe. It happens to me. Like channels I subscribe to, and then I'll go back in 3 months and realize I haven't seen a notification at all. And then I realize it's not subscribers, it's notifications. LV, just want to say thank you for everything you do. Thank you. And I appreciate the time to share kindness. Don't forget to smash the like button. Steven, did I miss something, or was there a video you posted today about Scooby? I've mentioned Scooby a few times before. Scooby's one of the OGs. Never had a bad word to say about Scooby. I don't always agree with everything he says, but no, I didn't post a video about Scooby or post anything about Scooby today. Would you prefer block sets or bulldozers for pull-ups? If you are, it depends on where you're at and what you like, really. I mean, if you're super proficient at pull-ups, then bulldozers are reasonable. If you're not quite as proficient, then you might want to pace yourself a little bit more naturally with rest on the block sets. Good morning. If you had to pick a gym partner for the rest of your life, fucking hey, dude. Sorry to swear. Man, I'd quit. No way. Look, I'd probably choose Cali Muscle. Mike O'Hearn, when I want to see him, I don't know what there is about the dude. I don't know Mike. Never met Mike. I think I'd have more fun with Cali Muscle, just man-to-man connection. You tell me, guys. What do you think of Mike? Does he come off a little bit arrogant? Hi, Steven. Third year to consistent training. I get as a natural, it'll take 10 years. Yeah, 5 to 10 years. How do you deal with a body dysmorphia? Track. Take pictures. Look at data rather than feelings. Are my arms growing? What are the projected rate of my arms? Like saying, my arms aren't growing. And then looking at a graph and seeing I have clients that, I have a guy that's legs have grown. One of my older guys, more experienced, no offense, over 50, whose legs have gone up like 1.5 inches in a year. So he kind of feels like his legs are small, but they've gone up 1.5 inches in a year. So just taking data and looking at it can be helpful. I don't think he'd follow Cali Muscle unless he's trying to have a heart attack. I don't even know how Cali's doing these days, to be honest with you. Do 10-minute deadlift blocks give the same? Yeah, look, I'm not a big rep guy on deadlifts. I think there's too many negatives to overworking the deadlift. So, like 20, 25 reps max a week. But on a 10-minute deadlift block, you're going to, it's not if they're going to give the same hypertrophic benefit. We're not having a cardiovascular limiter. We're really focusing on form, and you want to have your deadlifts in the mix, but you also need time to work on your time for your other back exercises. So don't worry about it. Get in your deadlifts however you like to do them, and then get in plenty of back work afterwards, and you will be fine. What's your favorite form of cardio for lifting conditioning? Cardio doesn't really benefit lifting conditioning. Lifting benefits lifting conditioning. Does that make sense? Building up your work capacity in the gym is really the only thing that builds up your work capacity in the gym, pushing yourself in the gym. Thoughts on rightward hip shift at the bottom of a squat. So when you squat, check out my 21 tips video because I have a lot of these things that we talk about. But when you squat, one of the things you can do is think about driving your butthole straight down. Control the squat. You don't want to be dive bombing, but think about controlling the squat and driving your butthole straight down. I know it's awkward to say butthole on video, but if you focus on controlling the squat and driving your butthole straight down, it will help a little bit prevent shift. Thank you. Repent and follow Jesus Christ. Thank you. Matt, I was doing some goal setting and think I'm going to try to get to 210 deadlift. Matt's at 200. And Matt, I think your goal is weak. I think you have more potential. And I think you need to, I think we need to re-rack a little bit. We need to get that back strength up. We need to attack those quads. Things other than squats. There's things we can do to get that. We need to attack those trapezoids. We can get it up. If a quarter rep, just the bar for squats, and my thong is showing, and my knees are buckling, and would you laugh at me? I laugh at everybody. LV King, during dumbbell overheads, do you press straight up? Don't think about it. Just press naturally. Don't think about this, that, or the other thing. Natural. Don't worry. Like the goal of an overhead press, don't worry about feel on a compound. The goal on a compound is to focus on getting stronger and keeping it natural. You don't want to force feel because then you're changing the lift dynamic. And while you might be able to feel your delt work more, you might be encouraging some wrist or some joint issues. I wish you could produce a beginner kettlebell. Yeah, kettlebells aren't my thing, sir. So that's just not my lane. I agree with everything you're saying. I'm 56 with stage 3 prostate cancer. I did everything right. No medical history. I have cancer. My wife does pin-up competitions for fun occasionally. And one of the ladies that was in a contest with her last year developed lung cancer, and the lady never smoked, and she died this year. And she's in her mid-50s. And the older you get, the more you realize, just old people talk, that every day, man, every day is a gift. Someone needs to clip this motivation speech for real. Thank you. I got a little bit fired up, but maybe I'll just turn it into a video of itself. I wish I had time to hire somebody just to take the best answers to these and turn them into like little TikTok-y things, because I think there's a lot of good information in here that would make good for like reels and stuff like that. Nicholas, when I reach a weight I can get under 5 reps with, after 2 to 3 months, usually that's when I switch it up. Well, you really don't need to train under 5 reps, but I would need to know a little bit more. I prioritize fitness and health over family. Sometimes it is just mentally unhealthy. I just rather do my exercise. I'm not really a family guy. No, you get to determine what's like. We don't have a license to be cruel to people, but we don't have an obligation. We don't. Let me say this the right way, because I don't want to sound inappropriate. I'm not telling you to be disrespectful to your family, but you get to do you. I would keep the family bonds healthy, but sometimes we're in unhealthy positions where if we don't do what they want, they consider us to be deviant. So you're not a bad person, but like I would say this, there's a line. If somebody's cooking Thanksgiving dinner and you bring over your Tupperware of chicken and rice, you're an asshole. That's not prioritizing health and fitness. That's being an ass. Because if someone spends their valuable time on planet Earth cooking for you, but you, in all your arrogance, can't eat the gift they've given you of time and food because you are healthy, this isn't about health. This is a little bit over the line. I'm not saying that's what you do, Nicholas. I'm just saying in general, we need to watch that. Richard, this week's live is awesome. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I hate the YMCA in my town. No glute ham, no bumper plates. The gym I go to has 9 power racks. That's pretty amazing. Back in the day, man, no one fucking squatted, so that's good to hear. Let's settle this once and for all. How much water should you drink a day? I do not give a doo-doo, right? I don't know. I'll tell you this. Here's the problem. There's too much bullshit out there, of obsession about water consumption. As long as you're not under drinking, you're fine. Just make sure you're getting in your sodium. That's important as an athlete. I don't ever worry about my water consumption. Just get in what's reasonable, and you don't want to go under. Like you're hardly drinking anything. But as long as it's reasonable, you're fine. There's no need to over-obsess. Harut, is there a movie you'd wipe away from memory to be able to experience watching it again for the first time? Yeah, man. Alien or Alien 2? Yeah. I love those movies. I absolutely do. If I ever get Alzheimer's, just wake me up every day and tell me it's the premiere. And I'll watch it every day. That's how I'll go out. Squatting in running shoes is the most common mistake I see. To the elbow tendonitis question, I remember I asked you that. I've gotten Versa grips. Yeah, I mean, it can take some time, but you got to use them on all pull and grip lifts. The only thing I realized during my weightlifting healthy lifestyle, the one thing that I realized during my weightlifting healthy lifestyle, I don't know if it cut off or not. I don't see a continuation. Do you live with any regrets spending too much time on health and fitness? No. We should never regret doing that which we love. I'm not spending too much time. No. Each day we have to give ourselves the freedom to wake up and do what we want to do. That's living. What is the meaning of life? To give life meaning. What does that mean today? What do I want to do now? Go do it. Do you want to paint? Say you want to paint. The voice in your head's going to say, you never painted. You're a fool. Ha, ha, ha. You don't have any talent. What are you doing, dumbhead? Say I want to cook. I want to go buy some chef knives. I want to learn how to chiffonade, right? I want to learn how to cut an onion properly. Ha ha ha, the voice in your head. You'll never be good enough. They'll all laugh at you. The value of life, the meaning of life is to give life meaning. Do what you want in that moment. Not recklessly, but should you ever regret spending any time doing that which you want to do? No. I don't regret any of it. I wish I had more. I wish I had more years. I wish I had twice as long to explore. The only crime in life is that there are too many things for us to explore and not enough time for us to explore them. Do you have any exercises you hate? Front squats. They can go fuck off. Excuse my language. It's Friday. I don't like front squats. They're not a bad exercise. If you like them, great. I just do not like them. Not a good feel. I know you don't do top 10 worst exercises. Do you respect? Yeah, I mean, there are lifts I think are way like we don't need for hypertrophy, like power cleans and Zercher squats. Does that mean you can't do them? Of course you can do them. Like I just said, if you like to do them, do them. Do what you love. That's the meaning of life, right? But do I think they add value for hypertrophy? They could, but I don't really care for them. Like Olympic lifts, nah. Hey, Steve, how do you program pull-ups in the massive iron world? Usually I start 3x8, 3x10, 3x12, and slowly micro-load. The problem is people get way too aggressive, and they can start to ego lift pull-ups and stop halfway down and get really sloppy. They're a common ego-lifted lift. On a 2-day-a-week A-B split, would you do barbell bench 2 times or replace it for 1 day? I have clients that do it twice a week. Some of them do low reps and some of them do the 5, 10, 10, 20 protocol. If you do them twice a week, I'd do different protocols. Okay? Or you could do flat bench and Larson bench, or you could do flat bench and incline bench. So you can do variation differences, floor press, whatever. Big Sam, do you think that going for a looser grip on your flat or incline presses? No. Looser grip. I'm trying to process this, not hate. Could lead to more growth given the increase. I don't know what you mean. I don't know how that increases, Rom. I'm not connecting with that. I'm not hating. I can't understand. Just crushed massive power muscle bulldozer, quads and calves. Great. I'm glad it worked out for you, and keep killing it. Community is important. I have to lift alone. That's why Team Massive is important. I appreciate you being a part of it. Community, like, there's aspects of mental health that we don't really talk about. Almost like we're not, like, some of us know these things and some experts discuss these things, but you know, they're not talked about enough. Like people that are disconnected with the sense of purpose in a community, like how do they fit in the community, tend to be more depressive. So being a part of a community or something bigger, not force, but it can help with your mental health. Does that make sense? We can definitely make a t-shirt out of that motivational rant. You guys come up with a t-shirt idea and I'll make the t-shirt. If you guys haven't seen over on superlivingtoday.com, I have tons of different t-shirts. I do them mostly for fun. If you want to support me and give me $5, go right ahead. People say, just get more sleep. I can't just get more than 6 hours. Well, do what you can do. If you can get in a rest, I mean, any rest or nap's going to be beneficial. If you can get those in occasionally, good. From some of the latest research, and I have an incomplete knowledge of this, it's just some stuff I saw. It was saying that when you can't sleep long, try to sleep consistently. Meaning try to go to bed at the same time, try to wake up at the same time. It implied that consistent sleep was almost like consistent patterns in sleep were almost as good as hours. So just something to think about and play around with. I'm running push-pull arms, legs. I seem to be able to almost fully recover. That's good. Make sure you're pushing the progression indicators. I think everyday stress is a huge factor in recovery. Yeah, if you get whatever the case is, when you get those periods in life where you are smooth sailing and everything's going well, just run it. At roughly what body fat percentage would you recommend peaking your bulk at? If you're a man, once you start to get over 230, you're getting in a big fat tubble art area. You're getting in a hungry hippo world. If you want to go above that and put yourself in trouble longevity wise, you can, but I don't know, like 220 is probably a good, like some of the taller guys might be able to pull off 240, but kind of when you get to 220, 230, we're getting in a little bit nervous area. Trying to do full body 3 times per week. Barbell Bryce, I'm currently running torso limbs. That's a fun one. Plus running 45 minutes. Good work. I'm glad to hear it's after. When people run before lifting, it makes me twitchy. Doing an upper lower with shoulders, upper, and arms. That sounds fun. What was the purpose of that red band on your arm in the dumbbell bench video? That's a bench press slingshot, and that provides shoulder support. I trained probably 15 years with that on every press set. That is Mark Bell's original bench press slingshot device. It provides shoulder support and allows you to use more weight and kind of overload. Having previously had disordered eating behaviors, do you ever threaten to creep back in? Not right now. I was a binge eater, so I used to abusively eat. I never feel that. I don't feel it. I'm not saying I'm a superhero. I don't like feeling bloated. I do not like overeating. I still like good food, but I just don't like the way it feels anymore. I have a good life. I have a good wife. I have a good career. Everything is wonderful. I've never once feel driven to go get a whole tub of ice cream and all the cookies and ramen and just, I don't like being overweight. Regarding your only being able to work out 1 to 2 days a week, would it still be possible to pack on? Yeah, you can pack on mass. Consistency. Watch the video I put out yesterday. Follow those things and you can put on mass. Is it going to be 6 pounds, 5 pounds, 8 pounds? Who knows? But if you work hard, you're going to put on mass. I personally have an arm day. I have a lot of clients with arm days because sometimes workouts can get pretty cramped. However, compared to my chest back, they still look small. 16.7 is pretty big, my friend. I mean, I'm not saying we have to stop there. But if you can get your arms to inches, you can get them to 17 or 17.2. So whatever you're doing good. There can be room for improvement, obviously. I can't give you exercise advice because I don't know your program. But if you want to send your program over via Instagram, Eben the Barman, or join teammassiveiron.com, which would make your mom happy because it's a good decision and your mom wants you to make good life decisions, I could help you out. I would choose Abe as my lifetime gym partner. Let's see. Hey, big hairy ugly dude, I do full body exercises during my workout routine. In your opinion, how many exercises should be done? That's a hard one to answer. Like, how long is your workout taking? You could do a massive mass style where you do 2 sets per exercise and build up from there. Generally, you get past 8 and you're really, really struggling. I'm not saying you couldn't do more, but full body, you probably have to look at 8, maybe 7. You only get 3 workouts a week, right? Generally, so you have to really think it through. I'm really in the mood to train a push day tomorrow, but I just done one yesterday. To be smart, like don't be impulsive. There's a lot of things we want to do, but are they best? Bottle that and maybe do something else. How many energy drinks can a person drink a day? I don't think you really want to go above 1,000. What is it, milligrams? Something, whatever the caffeine. Maybe like 4. I've done 5 before and haven't died yet. Would you recommend a slightly closer grip on your incline? No, we're not worried about, like, the further back your elbow is going on an incline, the more shoulder stress you're going to put. Same with bench. We're not trying to necessarily increase range of motion. That's just going to call in your triceps a little bit more and probably make it weaker off it. Don't overthink this stuff. Natural grip. Natural grip. I stop the bench 2 to 3 inches off my chest on every rep. And my chest is sore, right? Sore. So your chest's going to get worked. You don't need to increase the ROM. How do you get a good healthy source of sodium? Salt shaker. It's hard to get it from food, but you probably have to add a little bit to your food, or eat some things like pickles, or I have jarred jalapeno peppers with added sodium. I use cocktail onions, the little guys. Tastes great. I can throw them on food. They have a little bit of sodium. So I find creative ways to add them in without, I put a little bit of salt, 2 shakes on my meat when I'm cooking it. A little bit. Guitar jams and beyond. Low-hanging fruit for natural test levels. Sleep. Improving your diet. Reducing stress. Getting out in the sun. Long walks in the sun. Relaxing. Doing the old taking the Frankfurter to Donut Holeville. That was a little bit awkward. I think having a healthy sex life, the old Frankfurter to Donut Holeville. Do I get blocked? Do I get canceled for saying that? I don't know. Whatever with a closer grip on flat. Oh, we already got that one. It's it's too overthinking. Muhammad, how can I overcome the urge of training arms every day? Well, there's a lot of things we want to do every day, but that doesn't mean it's going to provide benefit. That's just going to wear you down, lead to overuse injuries, and it's not going to impact your arm size. The thing that's going to impact 80% of your arm size is getting your compound movements up to speed. Getting your bench, getting your dumbbell bench, getting your dumbbell rows, getting your dumbbell overheads, getting your big lifts. That's going to impact your arms far more. Especially the presses. You want big arms, you got to have big triceps, my friend. Gary, what's your take on natural hypertrophy training philosophy? Not being disrespectful, but I don't really watch his videos. I don't hear well, and his accent makes it very difficult for me to understand him, combined with my slight hearing issue. And I'm not being disrespectful. I respect him completely. But I can't watch videos that long. I barely have time to wipe my own ass and make my own food. So, again, not disrespectful at all. I just don't have time to watch videos that long, right? The way I process things, I'm like, give me the bullet points, right? I want to learn and move on with life. He said, remember, tonnage is king. Well, watch my video yesterday, and that kind of addresses that a little bit. Really off topic and random. I welcome random off topic questions. But what age did you develop such a thick beard? I started growing the old goatee when I was, I don't know, in the lame mid-90s. But I didn't start doing the full beard until maybe 10 years ago. It's just always been like that. If I let it go, it goes pretty crazy. I mean, this is like a week right now, and you can just see it growing like crazy. Any tips? More sex, more beer, more sex, more time in the woods. I'm just being silly. No, I really don't have any tips other than to let it grow. Probably just once in your life to let it grow wild, full. I don't know if that provides any benefit. But what's the downside? Thoughts on doing the flat and incline twice a week for lateral raises for delts? No. Lateral raises have a small progression window. They're not a replacement for overheads. No way. Not enough for side delts. On push-pull arms, legs, repeat, do you still do triceps on push? Generally, yes. Or do you do back traps on pull and chest delts on push? No, I usually do the arms on the push and pull days. All right, guys, we got 4 questions left. Last call. We're hopping off. Last call. So if you have a question, post it now. Just got the massive bulldozer program. Looks good. It seems easy to customize. If you need help, just let me know. Or simply follow the program. Thanks for making the program. Thank you for supporting me. I appreciate it. You guys need this Final Muscle Power Bulldozer program. There's so many ways to use it. It's what I use to build most of my mass. And I'm not saying that makes it a be-all, end-all program, but it's what I use. What arm exercises do you grow to biceps and triceps? I like close grip bench. Right now, I'm liking the JM press, where you bring the bar down here. I like cable tricep extensions. I like skull destroyers. Those are my meat and potatoes triceps exercise. I like seated pushdowns. I have a really good home gym seated pushdown. I'm liking more and more as a finisher dumbbell extensions. Sounds like a silly lift, but high volume, it's working well. Biceps, I like basic dumbbell and barbell, easy curl and dumbbell movements, sometimes pinwheels. I probably put too much salt on my food. As long as you are getting in enough potassium, you are okay. Thank you and have a good weekend. Thank you, guys. All right, guys, it's been a wonderful 2.5 hours. We crushed it today. Thank you for your support. Don't go yet. Don't go yet, please. Before you go, please follow me on Instagram at Ben the Barman. I am about to post a Q&A over there so you can ask me some more questions. So please follow me on Instagram. And teammassiveiron.com, teammassiveiron.com. Please join. Please join. We'd love to have you in the community. Coaching, I have a few coaching spots open. This is kind of my slow time of year. I'm still pretty full, but I do have 2 slots open. So if you want in, check out the coaching tab. There's a workout tab. You can check out my courses. You can check out my workouts, tons of workout options. You can check out apparel. I have Massive Iron Creatine, Massive Iron Whey. I'm not trying to be a supplement company, but these are good products. And if you want to put $5 in my pocket and not in a supplement company's pocket, do so. And guys, just before I go, I want to say I appreciate each and every one of you. And I posted something on Instagram earlier before I got on, that we see so many semantics debates and debates about do I need 160 or 165 grams of protein, all this kind of stuff. Always remember that all this shit is bullshit. If you train hard, watch my video yesterday. If you apply those principles and you crush your nutrition and you are relentlessly consistent over a long period of time, you are going to make it. And I'm right there with you, and I'm going to help you. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in, and I'm out of here.
It's not almost over. It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. there. They're not almost there.
Say something funny. Oh, your breath is rotten. What were you eating?